Okay, part two of our special right triangles. The other second special right triangle we're going to talk about today is a 30, 60, 90. And this is another one that comes with a pattern, just like our 45, 45, 90. Now in a 30, 60, 90, we have a scalene triangle, right? Because we have three different angles, so we have three different lengths and sides. So if this is my triangle, and I know that it's a 30, 60, 90, I know that the smallest side is opposite the smallest angle. So that means this angle up here has to be my 30-degree angle because it is opposite the smallest side. That means here's my right angle. So that's a dead giveaway. That one has to be my 60. Okay, so this is my 30, 60, 90 rules. Now, Mrs. Blankenbeckler is very short. And so she likes 30, 60, 90 because 30, 60, 90, the short guy is the important one. The short guy is what everything pivots on. If you know the short guy, you got the other two sides. Okay, it's really easy. So let's start with that rule. If I know the shortest side, which is a side opposite my 30-degree angle, I'm calling it S for short. Okay, to get the hypotenuse, or the angle opposite the right triangle, or the right angle, all I have to do is take that short leg and double it, just times 2. I just double the length. So it's 2 times S, or 2 times the short leg. Okay, so if my short leg is 5, my hypotenuse is 10. If my short leg is 6, my hypotenuse is 12. If my hypotenuse is 20, what's my short leg going to be? 10. Okay, it's just simple, a 1 to 2 ratio. Okay, now, this is where the 3 comes in. Okay, in the last video, I talked about a 45, 45, 90 having 2 angles the same. Well, guess what? This one has 3, I can't do that with my pen, 3 angles that are different. Okay, so we're going to use the square root of 3 with this one. All you do is take the short leg, multiply it times the square root of 3 to get the long leg. So this is just S times the square root of 3. That's how you get the sides. It's really simple. So who's the important guy in this triangle? The short guy. I hope you said that, the short guy. Okay, so let's try some examples. Let's start with our short guy being 3. Okay, if our short guy is 3, our short leg is 3, then our hypotenuse is really simple. 2 times 3, or 6. So the hypotenuse would be 6. Okay, if my short guy is 3, all I do is multiply it times the square root of 3 to get the long leg. So 3 root 3. And there's my answer. So those are my 3 sides. 3, 3 square root of 3, and 6. Okay, so that's the ratio given the short leg. Now what if you're not given the short leg? Let's say this time we're given the hypotenuse. Okay, given the hypotenuse. This one's pretty easy. Let's say the hypotenuse is 22. Okay, what do we know that we have to get first? We have to get the important part, the short guy. Okay, the hypotenuse is 22, and my short leg is only 11, isn't it? Because it's half. And then a short leg to the longer leg, I just multiply by the square root of 3. And we're done. Now, you need to know how to work with radicals. Because what if you're given a problem with radicals? Okay, let's try a couple with some radicals. If your hypotenuse, let's say, is 5 square roots of 3. Ugh, that's not a real pretty one, but let's play around with that. What's half of that? Well, 5 square roots of 3 divided by 2, or half of it, right? Well, that just simplifies to you could either leave it as 5 halves square root 3, or you could write it as 2.5 square root 3, or in decimal form, you can take the square root of 3 times 2.5 and get whatever decimal answer that is. Okay, now, it's not pretty, but there it is. I need to multiply that times the square root of 3 to get my long leg. So let's take 5 halves, square root of 3, which is the short leg, times the square root of 3 to get the long leg. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So whenever you multiply radical times itself, just the 3 comes out. So we have 5 halves times 3. Remember, that's always over 1. Any whole numbers over 1. So I get 15 halves, or 7.5. Voila. And that's how you'd work it with a radical. Okay, and an odd number for your hypotenuse. Now, the very last kind, which I think are the hardest. The hardest of these are working backwards from the longer leg. Okay, because you're going to have to do a little dividing here, right? Okay, we know the ratio is S for the short leg, S times the square root of 3 to get the long leg, and 2 times S to get the hypotenuse. So, if we're given the long leg, okay, let's say the long leg is 12. This side is 12. We have to go backwards to the short leg. Well, to go short leg to the long leg, we multiply by the square root of 3. So to go from long leg to the short leg, we're going to divide by the square root of 3. So let's divide by the square root of 3. Now, as we know, we cannot leave a radical on the bottom. So we have to clean it up. Whenever you have a radical on the bottom, you multiply by the same radical, the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. And that gives us a 3 on the bottom, 12 root 3 on top. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So it's 4 square roots of 3. Now, once you do a couple of them, it all comes back to you. It's not so bad. So when you divide by the square root of 3, you clean it up by multiplying by the square root of 3 over square root of 3. Gives you 12 square root of 3 over 3, which simplifies to 4 square roots of 3. Now, that's my short leg. How do I get my hypotenuse? I just multiply by 2. Now, when you multiply by 2, 2 times 4 root 3. Remember, the 2 is on the outside. The 4 is on the outside. Those are the two that get multiplied. 2 times 4 is 8 square roots of 3. That is your answer. So, you may want to review the rules of radicals. That's the basic concept of a 30, 60, 90. And I've just gone over 45, 45, 90. If I need to do one more video on radicals, I can. But that should give you a good start. Good luck.